Globally, an estimated 36.9 million people are living with HIV and AIDS, and 3.1 million of this global population is in Nigeria. Efforts to reduce HIV and AIDS prevalence in the country has led to several interventions, including government targets to test and put 90% of people living with the virus on treatment by the year 2020. Laudable as that target seems, the introduction of user fees, which is a mandatory payment that people living with HIV and AIDS are forced to make before accessing treatment at various government hospitals, is a major challenge to actualizing the 2020 targets.
The first I was attending was a government hospital, and I was made to pay fees. Sometimes I paid as much as 1,500. Some other times I paid only 500. And I saw people who turned up for treatment. They were able to afford the 500 but had no transport to go back home after that.
The President is very much concerned about those people who are currently on treatment on the national program, and he has promised that moving forward they will be looked after properly from the 2019 budget.
According to the United Nations Programme on HIV and AIDS, in 2017, Nigeria had a record of 210,000 new infections and 150,000 HIV and AIDS-related deaths. 28% of Nigeria's estimated 3.1 million people living with HIV and AIDS are children, just as mother-to-child transmission of the virus accounts for 90% of all new infections. So what can be done to reduce this huge burden?
I think it demonstrates the current weakness we have in our health system, because the only way you can tackle that effectively is by integrating HIV into antenatal care and making sure that every woman in Nigeria accesses antenatal care. Only about half of our pregnant women in the country go for antenatal care. The rest go to traditional setups, maybe places of worship, etc.
Currently, only 34% of the adult population and 26% of the children population living with HIV and AIDS in Nigeria are on treatment. No doubt, if the national target to drastically reduce new HIV infections by the year 2020 is to be realized, there is an urgent need to raise the awareness for testing and also increase access to treatment for people living with the virus.